Alrighty, welcome back to another Davis Does Weather live stream. We are actually here with a bit of an emergency situation. We have a decently strong tornado ongoing in northern Nebraska right now, just southwest of the city of Ainsworth. We have a confirmed tornado on the ground via broadcast media, just off to the west of the road here that goes just south of Ainsworth, Moon Lake Avenue, just south of Johnstown in Nebraska. So if you are out here in this area, you need to make sure that you are seeking shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a sturdy building away from windows and in an interior room. This supercell interacted with this boundary and exploded in intensity, and again, it is actively producing a tornado on this thunderstorm according to broadcast media. Again, this is a live look from that thunderstorm right now. We can't see anything too definitive. We might be dealing with a rain-wrapped tornado here. I mean, this is a decently high precip supercell, so we'll just have to stay on the lookout here. If you are out here included in this tornado warning polygon, make sure that you are seeking shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows and in an interior room. Again, there's your inflow notch. There is your RFD surge with your rear flank downdraft over the Ainsworth area, and your report of the tornado actually came from just south of Johnstown. Again, this was a broadcast media confirmed tornado, and that report was just 7 minutes ago. So again, good chance that this is still an ongoing tornado here in northern Nebraska. Velocities have only gotten more impressive since then. We would guess that the tornado is partially rain-wrapped, as we mentioned, but it would likely be just west of Moon Lake Avenue, south of Johnstown, Nebraska. So again, if you are out here along Moon Lake Avenue, you need to make sure that you are seeking shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows and in an interior room. How's it going, everybody? Make sure to like the stream if you are new here. We do this every day for areas all across the country, whether it's hurricanes, winter storms, or tornadoes. We've got you covered. Again, we do have a live look at this severe thunderstorm that is actively producing a tornado just south of Johnstown, Nebraska. Give me just a second here. I'm going to share this stream out on social media. I encourage you guys to do the same. If you know anybody out here in the northern or central plains tonight, make sure to send them this stream. We're actually going to be dealing with likely a low-end derecho event, or excuse me, that was a bad thing to say. I should not have said that, but likely a high-end MCS event in portions of southern Minnesota back through central Iowa tonight. The reason that I changed my mind there, I remembered the instability out here in this environment really isn't super impressive in general, I'll be honest. The area where our large MCS is going to be traveling through in particular is dealing with about 1 to 2,000 joules per kilogram of surface cape. If we had more instability, we could definitely have the potential to see a derecho tonight, but I just don't see that happening. I don't see this line of thunderstorms becoming super intense. The reason I accidentally called it a derecho at first, though, is because it is actually going to track far enough to constitute derecho terminology, but again, it is likely not going to be nearly intense enough to constitute the actual terminology. So, again, this large MCS event is starting to develop here across portions of far southern Minnesota. You can kind of see a severe thunderstorm warning there going out just for areas west of the, pretty much far west of the Minneapolis-St. Paul metro area. This is for Redwood Falls. Little supercell here, kind of semi-discrete, quarter-sized tail, damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour. We did actually have a tornado warning in Minnesota earlier for some very, very weak rotation on a semi-discrete supercell like that, so we'll continue to watch that area here. Our Nebraska supercell has been downgraded to a radar-indicated tornado warning, but again, it's certainly a possibility that this is still an ongoing tornado here. Again, it is likely somewhat rain-wrapped if it is on the ground, but velocities are still pretty intense, so we'll continue to watch that as the storm moves off to the southeast here. What's up, Vincent? What's up, Jog? What's up, Brody? What's up, Autumn? What's up, Earl? What's up, Mr. Twister? What's up, James? Again, this supercell here continuing to become more impressive on every reflectivity scan. Very clear area of inflow here. Again, likely an ongoing tornado still just off to the south of Johnstown, Nebraska. We do have multiple chasers out here today. Again, we've got Freddie McKinney on this supercell right now, but John McKinney's actually chasing that northern mode that we mentioned. He's out there in eastern South Dakota right now on his way towards portions of southern Minnesota, I imagine, to intercept this large MCS overnight, which is also going to ride into a huge severe weather event tomorrow across portions of the Midwestern United States. We've got this huge slight risk going all the way from western sections of New York back through portions of southern Iowa, and a secondary slight risk of severe weather going out for portions of Nebraska, and this actually could constitute a 10% hatch tornado probability with an uptrend in a couple of features such as SRH and a better storm mode. I doubt that will end up happening, but some of the HRRR runs that we've had off and on actually have been pretty gnarly, so we'll watch tomorrow like a hawk. I don't see it being quite as big as we were originally thinking. Again, I don't think it'll perform as a 10% hatch tornado risk, but it's not out of the question. Again, if we take a look at our tornado probabilities right now, you're going to notice that they're sitting at just a 2% there for portions of the Midwest and the Great Lakes region. That will almost certainly get upgraded to a 5% at the overnight outlook. Tomorrow's setup is more impressive than today's is, and we've got that broad 5% going out today. So we'll see what happens, but again, it looks like we have the potential to see a couple of tornadoes tomorrow across parts of the Midwest, and then some significant damaging wind gusts as well. Again, this is a live look from that severe thunderstorm.
Set over 2K likes real quick.
What do we got going on here?
For already
See
doing
what
that.
Freddie's thinking.
Yeah, it's getting very rain wrapped. I might shoot a little.
Pretty clearly got some intense motion there. Again, not sure if this is an ongoing tornado at this point. Likely not. If it is, it would be entirely rain-wrapped. We definitely would not have any view of it at this point as the inflow notch is starting to become covered up in rain. That could also be a sign of weakening in terms of this actual area of rotation. So we'll watch that over the next several minutes. We do actually have a very small marginal risk of severe weather going out for portions of the east coast of North Carolina and Virginia, and the only reason I mention this is the flash flooding situation that we've got ongoing out here in eastern Virginia is already devastating, and it's going to continue to get worse here. We've got flash flood warnings going out for areas south of Richmond, also areas near Fredericksburg, Virginia. We've also got a flash flood warning going out now for areas south of Columbia, North Carolina, so we'll continue to watch those thunderstorms as they drop that heavy rainfall in many of these communities. Again, very slow-moving thunderstorms is part of the problem, and again, just consecutive day after day rainfall. So we'll definitely watch out for that. But again, going back over here to our Nebraska supercell, I don't see this having any sort of tornadic potential for maybe 10 or 15 more minutes. I think after that, it's probably going to start to slow down quite a bit. Again, I do think that this is still going to maintain a significant hail threat associated with it, so I imagine they'll keep this severe thunderstorm warning, but I would not be shocked to see the tornado warning be allowed to expire and not get reissued. Again, it is still rotating quite intensely, so if you're out here in this area, make sure you are seeking shelter immediately, but I'm saying in the future, I don't see that necessarily being a large potential.
Likely tornado number 2. I guarantee you that's on the ground.
Freddie says it's on the ground.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that's got to be on the ground. That's a tornado.
Yeah, you can see that tornado there right in the middle of your screen. Wow. Look at
that.
that.
That's a tornado there.
It's partially rain-wrapped, but look at that tornado.
I know.
So,
I know.
Cone tornado now on the ground, back again in Nebraska.
We got 2 tornadoes out of the day.
Again, this is a pretty decently large cone tornado there. Again, this is moving south. This is just south of Johnstown, Nebraska. If you're just now tuning in, this is a live look at an ongoing tornado. This is a tornado on the ground south of Johnstown, Nebraska. Once again, if you're out here in this area, you got to seek shelter. Very clear as day tornado. Again, this is a confirmed tornado. This is a large cone. If you're out here in this area, you got to seek shelter immediately. Wow, look at that, look at that. You're going to see that ground circulation here in a second. Again, if you're just now tuning in, this is just south of the small town of Johnstown, Nebraska, a large cone tornado on the ground. This is likely going to have the capabilities to produce significant damage here shortly. All right. Again, hopefully we don't have any folks out here driving in this area. Again, if you do happen to be along the Moon Lake Avenue area, make sure that you are getting off the road, finding somewhere to seek shelter in, because again, this is a definite tornado. Again, you can see it somewhat clearly there. This is a large cone. Again, this has been induced by the boundary out here in this area. This would not be possible without that boundary, most likely. Again, this is a large cone tornado ongoing now. One of the more clear tornadoes that you'll see. I mean, this is pretty decent looking. Again, this is kind of sidewinding here, it looks like. Wow. Again, that is a beautiful tornado. Again, if it wasn't partially rain-wrapped, this would be an incredible view. Oh, come on, Eli. Come on. Yeah, again, that is a decently large cone tornado. Wow. Wow. Yeah, that is a nasty looking tornado there again. If you're just now tuning in, south of Ainsworth in Johnstown, Nebraska, this is a large tornado on the ground. Um, this is huge. My goodness. Again, this is a large cone tornado now. This got big really, really quickly. Wow. Again, if you're out here in this area, you got to seek shelter immediately. Again, this is a large cone tornado on the ground south of Ainsworth, Nebraska. Again, if you have any friends out here, you've got to seek shelter immediately. This is a significant damaging tornado on the ground. Um, Again, this is a large tornado, guys. This is a huge cone. Beautiful cone, but a big one. So again, if you're out here in this area, you've got to get to your safe spot. Again, this is going to be crossing the Moon Lake Avenue within the next 10 to 15 minutes. Again, significant tornado ongoing. Look at that. Wow. Again, this is a large cone tornado just south of Johnstown, south of Highway 20. Alright, if you're out here in this area, you got to be seeking shelter again. I mean, we're going to be intermittently losing Freddy's feed just because we're in the middle of nowhere with this, but this is a crazy sidewinder. Wow, look at that. Holy cow. Again, that is a beautiful tornado. Come on. Oh, it's roping out. It's roping out. Here we go. Here we go. Let's watch this rope out occur. Dude, that is a beautiful, beautiful rope. Again, it's partially rain wrapped, but wow. Again, if you're just now tuning in, this is a... Okay, well, just an FYI, velocity does not prove anything whenever it's contaminated and glitched out. Like, velocity really does... Yeah, Brody's right, velocity really does not matter in this situation. Look at that rope out. Again, crazy rope out with this tornado here, guys. Otter, why do you keep saying that? Again, if you're just now tuning in, this is a tornado roping out south of Johnstown, Nebraska. Wow, look at that. Look at that. Again, we want to get, I wish this would, again, you got kind of intermittent service out here, so... Again, you can still see it pretty clearly there. Again, very, very skinny rope tornado at this point. Look at that rope out. Wow. It's a fighter. I mean, it's taking it a minute. Look at that. That is a beautiful rope out. If only it weren't so, like, grungy and rain-wrapped. It's starting to dissipate. I mean, yeah, it's still just barely there again. One of the skinniest ropes you'll ever see. Wow. Again, oh my goodness, that is like the skinniest. Alright, I think it lifted. I think it's officially done. There we go. Alright, well, round of applause. That was a beautiful, beautiful tornado. It looks like this could actually recycle once more. Again, we've kind of got a little cell merger behind the hook echo here, probably impacting the performance of the inflow, but again, I mean, beautiful tornado. Clovis is Tornado of the Year, yeah. Yeah, beautiful tornado, without a doubt. Again, that rope out was pretty epic, I'll be honest. It's one of the better rope outs that we've seen for quite a while. We'll see what happens. Um, Again, I don't see this having a guaranteed recycle in its future without maybe a merger or something, a constructive merger that is. Um, Again, if we continue to see this destructive merger, we're probably going to watch this supercell slowly but surely dissipate. Um, but yeah, that was beautiful. That was the that was that was like the 35th number 35 spot for Tornado of the Year contender. Maybe in the top 50, maybe. It's kind of generous though. But yeah. Anyways, um, again, this is very similar actually to what we saw the other day in Nebraska. These these boundary tornadoes just really struggle to dissipate whenever we've got so much instability out here in the area. If we go over to the HRRR model, we'll go ahead and switch over to take a look at our surface cape. You'll notice that we've just got a ridiculous amount of instability out here, like 4,500 to 5,000 joules per kilogram of surface cape in the general vicinity. And then again, you get that boundary, you've got magic. Um, which is, I mean, again, this tornado was just chef's kiss in terms of rope outs. The actual tornado wasn't super impressive, but the rope out was beautiful. Anyway, um, that is that was something. So again, we talked about tomorrow just briefly. If we go over to pivotal weather and we take a look at the HRRR model here, the 0Z run is actually quite interesting. It's not nearly as impressive as some of the past runs have been for this event. If we take a look at the significant tornado parameter values and we go ahead and hone in on the Midwest here, um, you'll notice that they really don't become too highly elevated. Again, we're going to kind of have this leftover morning, early afternoon round from the event that we're watching right now. And then we're also going to be watching kind of a late evening, early nighttime event where if we do see a couple of discrete supercells, I would not be shocked to see, again, multiple tornadoes tomorrow. If we go ahead and cherry pick a sounding here, as you know who would say, um, let's do that. Boom. Please don't be contaminated. You're a little contaminated, but again, you'll see a pretty nice environment in general. Decent SRH. I will say your wind shear content's only going to be more impressive further north. 3 Cape values at 178, surface Cape at 5,000. Originally, the NAM had 7,000 instability for this event, which for a short range model, that is absurd. Like you'll see that on the GFS and the Euro, pretty much daily during this time of year, but on the NAM, that's quite rare to see. Again, the actual storm mode, I think, is definitely going to be a hindrance to the performance of this event. I predicate the idea of there being multiple tornadoes possible tomorrow on the potential for discrete supercells. Now, northern Indiana is likely going to be where we see most of the activity playing out. The mode is semi-discrete. If we look at the general environment, we can get a better sounding than that if we go ahead and do the classic cherry picking strategy, chef's kiss cherry picking. If we go ahead and take a sounding here, we'll actually do this little guy here over in northeastern Illinois, just south of the Chicago metro area. If we go ahead and take this sounding, again, this is basically right over Joliet. Again, you'll notice that is a wonky-looking photograph. Again, the biggest problem this far north is going to be your lower-level instability. You've got 12-3 Cape. But again, the further south you go, you're getting a little more instability, but you're not looking at nearly enough shear to support a tornado threat. I mean, I don't... Again, I don't want to say there's going to be the potential for a strong tornado tomorrow. If things play out like the past several HRRR runs and NAM runs especially have wanted, we will have the potential to see a strong tornado tomorrow, especially if storm mode cooks like the past few runs of the HRRR have wanted. So I keep posting pictures on Twitter. But if the storm mode is poo-poo tomorrow, there is a chance that we don't see a single tornado. There really is. If we go ahead and take a sounding here from Nebraska, the Nebraska mode's actually quite impressive as well. They don't even have a 2% out for this yet, but again, you'll notice copious amounts of lower-level instability, ridiculous amounts of lower-level instability, over 200, 3,000 surface cape in general. You've got 51 knots of shear at the effective layer. You've got 150 to 200 SRH, which is decent. Typically, you're going to want a little bit more than that in the higher levels of the atmosphere, though. Now, back into Nebraska, again, the storm mode on the past few runs of the HRRR has been really impressive, but the most recent one, again, kind of has a more semi-discrete / clustery mode than anything else. It has, like, this ridiculous notion that we're going to have, like, a super outbreak in Iowa, not because of the environment. The environment definitely would not support it like this, but I'm talking about storm mode in general. It has, like, 1,000 discrete supercells, or at least it did. Now it's got, 5 or 6, but if we go back to the 18Z here, let's see if we can find what I'm talking about. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. I mean, this looks like an RRFS run. Like, this does not look realistic whatsoever. Look at this. That is, that is the April 27th of the Central Plains if something like that were to play out. I mean, that is ridiculous. Yeah, NWS North Platte kind of just does their thing over there. We found that out during Whitman. But it was a joke, Sam. It was a joke. I know people love to take my statements entirely seriously, but it was a joke. But yeah, not only has it been the HRRR that has been cooking with this event, the NAM actually, whenever we first started getting views of this tornado outbreak, we'll show you what I'm talking about here. Let's... Well, yeah, you said it in chat. You called me out. Let's take a sounding here. This is what the NAM wanted originally. Just like, now this would actually be very significant if something like this were to play out again. This is an old NAM run, but whenever we first started seeing the event come in and we started seeing soundings like this is whenever I was like, okay, we need to watch this. And it got even crazier during, I want to say it was the 18Z. Yep, here it is. This is a ridiculous sounding. 700 SRH, 153 Cape. We had up to 80 knots of shear on one run. Like, a ridiculous looking photograph. Like, this was shaping up to be a super impressive, like, high-end tornado outbreak. And then it just fell apart as the dates became closer. But anyway, tornado warning expires here in 6 minutes. And I really don't see this being reissued. Velocities don't really pinpoint any definitive rotation. Very weak rotation, perhaps. But yeah, 0Z NAM coming in right now, so we'll get another look at tomorrow's event. Also, 1ZH Triple R coming in as we speak. Again, overnight, we are going to see this significant MCS move through portions of the Midwest, bringing significant damaging wind gusts, maybe a couple of brief tornadoes, but outside of that, I don't see too much of a tornado threat for today. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning now going out for Scottsbluff. This is really interesting. Not only it's not like it just has. Okay, that's a radar omega glitch. Golf ball size tail damaging wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour. If you're out here in Scottsbluff, make sure you are moving indoors and away from windows immediately. Hail contaminated velocity couplet. But again, significant damaging wind gusts approaching Scottsbluff and Jering. They actually did reissue the tornado warning there. It's kind of surprising. So areas west of Highway 7 near Ellesmere, Nebraska, you need to make sure that you are seeking shelter immediately. Get on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows and in an interior room. Did not mean a quad box. Let's fix that. But anyway. Let's see here. Do we have... Yes, we do. We have hour 18. So... Again, this is kind of the morning time / early afternoon time MCS remnants. I would not be shocked to see a couple of QLCS tornadoes, as I mentioned, not only overnight, but also into tomorrow morning. The general amount of instability out here is going to be the driving factor for every single supercell. The Cape, to be quite frank, the Cape out here in this environment is going to be ridiculous. There's no doubt about that. If we go back to 18Z, look at this. The NAM, hold on. Let's do this properly. And by properly, I mean, again, we're not looking for an actual good sounding, but we're just looking for Cape. Yeah. The NAM throwing 8,000 Cape is kind of crazy. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Also worth noting, our moisture content is going to be some of the most intense that we've seen in the entire year. Our dew points are ridiculous. They get over 80 degrees decently consistently across portions of the Midwest. Like, that is insane to see something like that this far north, obviously. Now, I generally don't see that being enough to make up for the fact that our shear is quite lackluster in the southern portions of the Midwest. But we'll see what happens. Again, if this QLCS actually does make it all the way to tomorrow, we could definitely see this potentially constitute a derecho, since the environment is much more impressive tomorrow for a derecho threat than today. It's going to be interesting. I do think that we probably have a little bit too much lower level shear to see a derecho, because typically you don't want a ton of lower level shear for a derecho event. But obviously your instability being that incredible with an already developed QLCS is kind of hard not to develop into a derecho. But yeah. Anyway. Supercell Nebraska continuing to rotate broadly southwest of Long Pine, south of Ainsworth. The sun's going to set here pretty soon, so we'll continue to watch that supercell as it moves off to the south-southeast. Actually, pretty much directly south, but let's go back to NAM. I'm sure they've got frame 21, right? They do. Alright, let's go to SIG-TOR parameter. Okay. Let's cherry pick another sounding. Alright. So, again, now we kind of seen an uptrend in SRH content with this newest run of the NAM, or at least for the early portions of the event, it looks like that's what we're seeing. By the way, they did go ahead and tour warn the Scottsbluff storm. If you're in Scottsbluff, you need to be seeking shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a sturdy building away from windows and in an interior room. This includes the south side of Scottsbluff, Jering. Again, this is a very hail-contaminated velocity couplet. I'm kind of surprised they tour warned that. I suppose it is visible via multiple radar sites, so if you're out here in this area, make sure you are seeking shelter. Now that I know it's visible via multiple radar sites and it's not entirely hail contaminated, I would not be shocked to see that produce. So if you're in Jering or on the south side of Scottsbluff near Terrytown, make sure that you are seeking shelter. But again, perhaps an uptrend in SRH via the NAM model. Like if we go back to this frame on the 18Z, we look at the same area, your SRH was sitting at 70. Like, I don't know. But, anyway. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe. We do this every day for areas all across the country, whether it's severe weather, winter storms, or hurricanes. We've got you covered. Let's get the stream to 50 likes, chat. We are 16 away. If everybody liked right now, we would hit it. Let's get there, chat. Let's do it. New frame just came out on NAM. We look at it. We cherry pick. And I have OCD, so we have to pick the exact climax. Okay, now this is concerning. Again, I see a problem with a tornado threat just because, again, we've got a little bit too much lower level shear for like a significant derecho, but for a tornado threat, we don't quite have enough. I see there being issues with wind shear in general, but outside of that, the environment is not perfect, but I mean, not as far from it as you would think. You've got 450 SRH, you've got 5,000 instability, 163 cape. Lapse rates are somewhat poor. Pretty nice autograph. Super cell composite values at 40. I mean, it's pretty nutty. So, again, we'll wait for the next frame. Again, ARRR does not want this to be nearly as big of an event in terms of environment. Oh, do we have a tornado coming down? Let's look. They've got Eli up. Or, not Eli, they've got Charlie up. Come on. Load. Are you guys talking about on the storm that Freddy's on, or are you talking about the Scottsbluff storm? I did not see anything. But I also was not looking when you guys were saying that, so. Newsflash, if you don't look at something, you won't see it. Let's go back over to the Scottsbluff storm, actually. I don't know why I say Scottsbluff like that. Still pretty strong rotation there west of Jering, definitely weakening out a tad bit. Yeah, Freddy is in a pretty terrible service area. He is in a literal dead zone, so. We'll have to wait and see when we get him back. Inflow just got killed, so I doubt this is going to produce at this point, unless it already is. In which case, it would likely weaken. That is actually rotation on Scottsbluff. Yes, it is. You can confirm via multiple radar sites, and if it wasn't rotation, why why did they Tor warn it, you know? But you can verify if you look at Rapid City, you can see the rotation. If you look from central Nebraska, from the Sandhills, you can see rotation. It's rotating. Check Abbeville. I'm getting a supercell near me. All right, all right. Get a little special weather statement one storm. I don't know if I'd call that a supercell. I highly doubt that has a rotating updraft. Well, you guys tell me then if it's so obviously hail contamination. Tell me why not only did they Tor warn it, but it's visible from every single radar site within the vicinity. You guys go ahead and get back to me on that one, and then I'll believe you. All right, let's go back to the NAM. Oh, so you're smarter than the NWS. Okay, gotcha. Marion, Illinois was hail contam. Yeah, that was a hail. That was actually just that wasn't a CC drop on, or that wasn't a debris ball and reflectivity. That was just hail contam. It was just hail. Don't worry. Sorry, I didn't realize that everybody in chat knew more than the National Weather Service did. That's my bad. Um, I also didn't realize that they were able to defy logic because there are 4 different radar sites. 4 different ones that show rotation. But well, again, I whenever the National Weather Service comes out with a statement saying that, oh, we were wrong, that was just an accident, that was hail contamination, I'll take your guys' word for it. But until then, no. And it actually was rotation on every radar. It was incredibly broad on some, but it can't be too tight whenever we're 100 miles away from the radar site. Like this, you can see broad rotation. Northwest Kansas radar, you can't quite see anything. North Platte, you can see rotation. Cheyenne, you can see rotation. Rapid City, you can see rotation. So yes, it is quite literally rotation on every radar. It literally is. Like it's 112. It's like 120 miles away from the Denver radar, so it's not going to be super noticeable, but it is. It's 150 miles away from radar. It's not going to be the most clear-cut velocity couplet of all time, but you can see definitive rotation. Yeah, I'm not getting myself worked up over something this dumb. I mean, I kind of am, but I don't want to, is what I meant. Anyway, let's go back to the central Nebraska storm. Again, pretty clear clear inflow notch area. So we'll see if this manages to recycle once more. But outside of that, not a lot to mention, not a lot to note. Again, if you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe. We do this every day for areas all across the country. We're finally pretty solidly at 4,500 subscribers. We don't have to keep going back and forth, hopefully. The rotation is in. It doesn't directly line up with the edge of the supercell because we are from the nearest radar site. We are 75 miles away. So it's not going to line up 100% of the time. It's also, again, I just do. What's up, Ethan? Again, going back to our central Nebraska storm, probably not going to see too much else out of this. The inflow is kind of cut off there by a cell merger, it appears. Maybe a couple. Alright, well, if it's so obvious, take up your issue with the National Weather Service and every other single YouTuber that is streaming this and covering it right now, calling it rotation. Don't just talk about it with me. You are losing points with everybody in chat, I'm pretty sure. No, there are a couple people that are live. Max isn't live because he's got the virus. This kid is crashing out. You say you know what you're talking about, but you haven't given a single reason that has not been disputed that is not related to false rotation. He's got a fever and he's got a cold, he said. I mean, he doesn't have COVID, but he might have COVID, I have no idea. Alright, so we don't need to talk about mids. I do not have a Discord now. I was thinking about starting one, but I already know. Well, let me explain exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to create the Discord server, and there are going to be dozens of people that start saying really weird, like, oh, let's be edgy, out of context things. And my dad's going to join the server, and he's going to see said things, and he is going to crash the flip out. So, I decided perhaps against it. Maybe in the future. But alrighty. Well, I don't see us necessarily being live for like too much longer. I know we kind of just started. Maybe we play some Twisted. I actually do have a twisted chase that I need to edit. Sam, that is not a supercell. The definition. Nobody said that we're gonna ban you. Nobody brought that up. Literally nobody. Like, what? This is a very nice supercell sim. Very organized. A chicken dog toy. What? Like, what? What does that even mean? Bro, we are cooked. We are so cooked. Gang, it is July. It is July. It's not even that it's off topic that bothered me, it's just that it is July 2025 and we're making chicken jockey jokes. Like, bro, what? I don't think Mr. Twister is in here because he's in, he's going to San Diego. He's flying right now. Didn't somebody get really offended by that post or something? Could Akron get into an enhanced tomorrow? No. No, not gonna be that far east. If we did get an enhanced, it would be something like this, and it would be like a 30 wind. But by the way, everybody's talking about the NHC 10%. I don't like. I'm or 20%. Sorry, I'm gonna be totally honest here. I don't see this doing much. Like, if we go to GFS, it has it becoming like briefly like a tropical storm intensity system, and it has that occurring like within the next like 2 days, which is kind of bogus. If we go over to the European model, it has a slightly weaker system, like tropical depression intensity. And if we go over to the Canadian model, it doesn't even have it developing into a developed low. I guess it does, but just very briefly. And again, none of them have like any landfall on the United States or anywhere. So, again, I'm not saying hurricane season is going to be dead, but from what we've seen so far, I don't think it'll be super active. Now, if you count the Texas floods as hurricane season, okay, yes, it was related to a dissipated tropical storm, but I don't see I don't see how you could say that, because then you have to constitute so many different events over the past several years as hurricane season related. If we're just saying any low that was once a tropical storm is a hurricane related event. I will say GFS has kind of liked the idea for a while now of like a Eastern Pacific cooker. I mean, as this thing becoming like borderline Cat 3 intensity. All right, see you, Storm Chaser 575. Thank you for tuning in. But we're only 8 likes away from hitting 50 likes this stream. If you haven't already, make sure to like the stream. Also, make sure to click that subscribe button down below. We do this every day for areas all across the country. Nah, the self-promo is crazy. That is crazy. What's up, Gooseman? But yeah, 1ZH doesn't quite have a grasp on tomorrow's event quite yet. 2Z will. I mean, I guess we'll kind of start to see the MCS re-intensify. See, again, it really does have the potential to at least be a derecho-like event. By the way, SPC has said localized tornado threat up until around 10 o'clock for our central Nebraska supercell. That was put out about 20 minutes ago, but evidently they still believe that this supercell has the potential to do something, so we'll continue to watch it. But yeah, I really do see a 30 hatched wind coming out for tomorrow, or at least a 30 wind in general, maybe a non-hatched. If we go to even like 0ZH which again has this been like the low end outlier for this event. If we go ahead and take a look at future track wind gusts, we'll full screen here. If we take a look at we don't know yet, Brody. Probably not though. I wouldn't guarantee it, but Lil Rave. Were you the guy talking about Michigan last time? Because they did get a slight risk. I was indeed wrong, but it was not tornado driven. Anyway, if you go to 0ZH again, it kind of has this. I suppose the specific gusts don't get super intense all that often, but they do have the general large MCS pattern continuing. I suppose it's more of a semi-discrete thing. They don't really have it developing into a large QLCS again. Well, we'll see. Again, I do see Nebraska potentially receiving a 2% tour risk for tomorrow. I am kind of surprised they don't have it out right now. And again, I'm also kind of surprised they don't have a 5% tour out for tomorrow in the Midwest. But perhaps I'm overestimating. We'll see. Is it worth chasing? I mean, if you want some significant damaging winds, yeah. I wouldn't say that we'd see a significant tornado threat that far north by any means, but again, if we see a 30 hatch wind, there's a good chance that you might be in it. Oh, northern Michigan? No. You won't see a 30 hatch in northern Michigan. If you want to chase it, yeah. I mean, that's not a terrible. I mean, you're probably gonna have your general localized severe thunderstorm warnings. See, even 1ZH has this event being way bigger than the 0Z. Like, look at my goodness, dude, look at this stark contrast between 1ZH this is the 1Z, and this is the 0Z. Like, look how much more organized it is on the 1Z. My goodness. That is incredible. Again, if the 1Z continued here, I bet it would show our full-blown derecho through the Midwest. That's crazy. Yeah, I think Akron probably stays slight. Nam did not. Nam probably had like one PDS tour sounding on a. They did not have a PDS tour sounding on the 0Z. There's no way. Yeah, you definitely did not get a PDS tour sounding in northern Michigan on the 0Z Nam. You may have gotten it like 4 runs ago, but oh, Nam 3K. Yeah, it still does not. Oh, I guess this is Sunday. We'll look at Saturday. Yeah, you still definitely don't have a PDS tour sounding. That is kind of a crazy environment, but I see an issue with general instability. That's not a terrible storm mode, though, I'll be honest. I mean, um, again, I actually have not looked at NAM 3K a whole ton yet for this event. Let's cherry pick a Central Illinois sounding because I love Central Illinois. No bias, obviously. So yeah, I mean, other than sheer, that is a really good environment. It's a crazy good environment, I would say. Other than the wind shear issue, which I mean that can be overcome, especially if it's a derecho like event. I mean, we don't want a whole lot of shear anyway. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be nearly organized enough to constitute the derecho tag. I'm not gonna lie. Also, Sunday, NAM 3Ks higher res. Sunday, I do see a slight risk addition, most likely in portions of the Midwest. The marginal that we have includes almost 100 million people already. Like, this is a huge day 3 marginal, going all the way from Montana to Massachusetts. But I don't know. That's up to you, dude. 48 likes. We're 2 away. Rising Scud on Freddy's. Let's take a look. Pretty electrified storm in general. Again, John McKinney now in Nebraska. I think he is actually heading for the storm that Freddy's on. Or he might just be heading home. Scottsbluff storm very unorganized. Likely going to see this severe warning be dropped pretty shortly. One like away. Let's do it. When is the last time we hit 50 likes in an hour? That is pretty crazy. Come on, chat. Let's hit 50 likes in an hour. It's been so long since we've done something like that. Did we hit it? Can't tell. Did we hit 50 likes? Wasp. Funny. Whoops. Did not mean to do that. Did not mean to do that. 2 likes away. We're 2 away, gang. There's a wasp behind me. Yep. Yep. We're two away. Come on. We've got like 30 seconds left. I'm just gonna use my ults. Left. I'm just gonna use my ults. Left. Whoa. Huge wasp. Yeah. I know. It's bigger than me. Hold up. We gotta. Davis does weather. Oh, we did not hit it because so many people unliked. Boy, that's just great. It definitely could, Rave. I mean, I think that you're going to need a lot more than just one NAM 3K run, but with more model guidance, yeah. More positive model guidance. Why is the Wasp meme still alive? That was like 2 weeks ago. Yellow Jacket, those are even more terrifying. I know what those suckers can do. They will kill you. Trust. See, again, like, I want there to be a tornado, you know? It's still massive. Is it as massive as the low taper fade meme? You watched a hornet crawl into an electrical socket? Let's go! W's in the chat for the humans. Honestly, it deserved it, probably. It really probably did. Those things are mean. We did hit 50 likes, so that's pleasant. I don't know what else we wanna do here, chat. I don't think we're gonna play Twisted. I've got quite a few things to do tonight. Got the YouTube equivalent of chores to do. Sam is cosplaying as Brandon Kopic. I'll show you somebody cosplaying. By the way, our tornado in Wisconsin, the PDS, rated low NDF1, tree uprooting. Did not hit any structures, so that is why. I maintain that that was a very intense tornado. I think if it hit anything, it would have easily been a SIG tour. But yeah. I don't know. I think we might be about ready to end off here. If you guys did enjoy the stream, make sure to like and subscribe. We will be back tomorrow, and then probably Sunday as well. We're gonna end off though because I don't see too much happening with our Nebraska storm, and that's about the only thing that we have to watch. Again, overnight our QLCS will develop, but just significant damage and winds would be the only thing to watch out for with that. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one, whenever that is. Peace.